Have you ever witnessed someone stroll into a party they had absolutely no invitation to, only to end up swinging at the very host of the evening? Exactly. That's pretty much the opening act of what could only be described as the Meghan Markle show. Now, fast forward to Kevin Costner's highly publicized charity concert, a night that was carefully planned to celebrate first responders, those selfless heroes who run toward danger instead of away from it. What should have been a heartwarming evening quickly spiraled into something resembling a surprise episode of Bad Girls Club, Royal Edition, with Meghan Markle front and center. Her noticeably possessive clutch on Harry, mixed with a sea of skeptical side-eye glances from attendees, said it all. Let's roll the tape back. Kevin Costner hosts this benefit every single year. It's called the 805 Live Concert, named after Santa Barbara's area code. The idea is simple, pure good vibes. Think classic country energy. Trisha Yearwood, The Fray, smoky BBQ, cowboy boots and hats, friendly music under the stars. No palace theatrics. No frenzied paparazzi stampede, just honest fundraising for the firefighters, paramedics, and emergency responders who literally sprint into blazing infernos while the rest of us sprint in the opposite direction. But this year? That wholesome energy was ripped away the instant Meghan and Harry strutted in, as if they were still drawing paychecks from Buckingham Palace. Spoiler, they aren't. Here's the kicker, Meghan wasn't even invited. Last year, she didn't make the list. The year before, she allegedly tanked the atmosphere entirely with her unpredictable behavior and relentless obsession with grabbing the microphone. This year, Costner probably crossed his fingers and prayed she'd stay home, too. But nope. She materialized out of nowhere. A surprise entrance, not on the guest list, not a donor, not even remotely dressed to match the event's relaxed Western theme. She simply rolled in with her husband at her side, flanked by a full-blown People magazine photo crew, as though she were unveiling a new perfume collection called Royal Intruder. And here's where things spun into chaos. Eyewitnesses and eagle-eyed internet detectives, who dissected every blurry frame of footage, reported that a young female staffer working the event politely approached Meghan before the program even began. Her assignment? Gently inform Meghan that she wouldn't be allowed to take the stage. Completely standard, considering she wasn't scheduled or booked. Meghan responded with a polite smile, a nod, and an assurance that she had no plans to speak anyway. But then, in a move ripped straight out of daytime soap opera theatrics, she allegedly slapped the woman with her free hand. Not a bump, not an accidental brush, but a deliberate handbag-switching strike that froze everyone in shock. Who even premeditates an attack over a microphone they were never going to be offered in the first place? And what about Harry? Did he intervene? Honestly, no. He just kind of lingered there, allowing the scene to unfold. His reaction was a mixture of embarrassment and damage control, an awkward hand on Meghan's back, as if he were both mortified and quietly checking whether she might be concealing more tricks up her sleeve. Meghan, for her part, immediately latched onto his hand like a guilty teenager trying to avoid detention, fully aware she had crossed yet another line. The mask had slipped, again. This isn't some isolated incident either. Meghan has burned through staffers like she's running a haunted attraction. One by one they resign, whispering tales of mistreatment, volatile outbursts, and constant aggression. If she's willing to publicly lash out at a charity worker in front of cameras, imagine what happens behind closed doors. That's what people are whispering, and it's not just about this single slap. It's about the pattern, and the media, of course they twisted it. People magazine released a sugary puff piece portraying Meghan and Harry as if they were the evening's guests of honor. They even claimed Meghan sweetly hugged Harry before quietly cheering him on from the sidelines like a supportive spouse. Fiction. The reality? She was glued to him on stage the entire time, clutching him as though terrified he might bolt the second she let go. She couldn't allow him even a fleeting moment of spotlight. Not when it was supposed to be about first responders, not when the evening was meant to highlight actual heroes. Meghan made it about Meghan. Again, the wildest part? Nobody's even shocked anymore. It's almost expected at this point. Every public appearance she makes comes with a guaranteed dose of chaos. And let's be clear, this wasn't some edgy festival or tabloid-fueled reality show. It was a charity fundraiser for emergency workers, people who drag strangers out of burning wreckage. Yet somehow, the entire spotlight shifted to Meghan's uninvited slap and her calculated mic-grabbing drama, with half the internet zooming in on screenshots like it was the Zapruder film. Even Kevin Costner himself, the man of epic films and famously unflappable cool, couldn't escape the circus. His event was hijacked. A concert designed to honor everyday heroes turned into a royal soap opera. To make matters even stranger, Costner was reportedly dating a woman who looked suspiciously like his ex-wife. But that little nugget of tabloid intrigue was completely overshadowed by Meghan's antics. Nobody was talking about the firefighters, the performances, or the donations. They were all fixated on the Duchess of Sussex's vice grip on Harry's arm, her dramatic slap, and the sense that she was preparing for aerial combat in stilettos. And here's the most damaging piece. It's not just embarrassing, it actively harms the cause. When you crash a charitable event and turn it into a personal drama showcase, you don't uplift anyone. You drag the mission down. And to top it all off, the couple didn't donate a cent. No Archwell sponsorship, no Royal Foundation contribution, nothing. Just entitlement, vibes, and their personal photographer, Clint Brewer, trailing them like he was shooting a Vogue cover. They brought zero financial support, zero on-theme energy, and couldn't even bother to match the casual Western dress code. While everyone else came ready for barbecue, live music and cowboy spirit, Meghan and Harry arrived dressed as if they were bracing for a tense press briefing. Wrinkled outfits, stiff expressions, absolutely out of sync with the entire event. And then comes the machinery of public relations spin. Meghan's carefully managed team wasted absolutely no time in funneling carefully crafted narratives to eager media outlets, selling the polished illusion that she was nothing more than a graceful, selfless, supportive wife, graciously stepping into the background so Harry could shine in the spotlight. According to their script, she was letting him have his moment. Except, if by let you mean clinging to him with the grip of a barnacle, nervously darting her eyes across the crowd for even the faintest flicker of disapproval, then the photographs told an entirely different tale, and it was not one of gentle support. It radiated dominance, control, and a determination to ensure the cameras didn't dare wander anywhere else. And, predictably, once again, the narrative was bent back toward the royal family. Those very same articles managed to weave in references to King Charles, whispers of reconciliation, and supposed private meetings that allegedly nudged Harry closer to a grand return to the United Kingdom. It's the same tired maneuver every time: generate noise, cause a spectacle, and then drag in royal connections to mop up the mess. As though standing beside a fire chief on a stage somehow erases every misstep that just occurred. As though clinging to your husband's arm like a drowning woman somehow elevates you into the ranks of a national treasure. What truly resonated with people, however, wasn't merely the alleged slap or the obvious hunger for attention. It was the way Meghan's face betrayed her, her expressions revealing far more than the narrative allowed. Her features were taut. Not the tautness of makeup alone, but the strained, angry, panicked look of someone who realizes their grip on control is slipping through their fingers and is desperately clawing to get it back. Literally clawing. Meanwhile, Harry's appearance could not have contrasted more. Checked out, his face bloated, projecting the energy of a man who had forgotten the very reason he was there. And in a room filled with first responders and decorated war heroes, that hollow presence stood out like a glaring wound. By now, the question people whisper is no longer if something occurred. It's when lawsuits will begin to fly. Because if even half of this spectacle was captured on video, Meghan's days of hiding safely behind palace walls and carefully hoisted PR flags may be drawing to an end. Staffers have maintained a suspicious silence for far too long, and now the cracks in that silence are beginning to widen. Murmurs from both UK and US circles grow louder by the day. Individuals who once worked in close proximity with Meghan are beginning to speak. And it is not the kind of conversation one welcomes when trying to reinvent themselves as a global humanitarian icon. From reported emotional eruptions to deliberately calculated manipulation behind closed doors, the emerging pattern is impossible to ignore. People do not abandon royal positions on a whim. These are prestigious, career-defining posts. Yet under Meghan's watch, staff seemed to flee like people sprinting from a collapsing building. And now, genuine concern builds that this latest spectacle could be the trigger that finally bursts the floodgates. If legal action does materialize, even a modest civil claim from the woman allegedly struck, it could ignite a domino effect. Non-disclosure agreements have limits, especially when someone's physical safety is at stake. And if one voice finds the courage to step forward, you can be certain there are a dozen more ready with stories that mirror the same disturbing theme. Assistants, volunteers, palace aides, those who witnessed the Meghan hidden behind the curtain, did not see the polished, smiling, glossy magazine version. What they saw, according to insiders, was a woman who could switch moods in an instant, turning hostile the moment things failed to align with her demands. And what makes the entire spectacle almost surreal is not just her volatility, but her insatiable desperation for approval. At this stage, it's no longer even about wielding power. It's about feeding a bottomless appetite for attention. Meghan craves the camera. She craves applause. And when it doesn't come naturally, she manufactures it, scripting the story herself. That is why she never arrives alone. She brings her own photographer, her carefully assembled PR team, her pre-written narrative. She doesn't wait for history to unfold organically. Instead, she attempts to write it in real time, bending perception, twisting reality into whatever storyline she believes the public might still swallow. But the problem for her is clear. The public is catching on. Every glowing headline that tries to frame her as graceful, misunderstood, or unfairly maligned is instantly drowned by thousands of comments calling it what it really is: a smokescreen. Because you can only play the role of victim so many times before people start asking the obvious. Wait, who's actually the aggressor here? Especially when she continually inserts herself into events she was never invited to, only to leave chaos and resentment in her wake. The saddest casualty in all of this may be Harry. Once upon a time, he was the man who captured the world's sympathy, the grieving boy who lost his mother, the courageous prince who dared to challenge the suffocating weight of royal tradition. Now he is reduced to little more than a background prop in Meghan's endless theater of drama. He doesn't speak. He doesn't intervene. He simply follows, holding her arm, allowing her to steer the narrative wherever she pleases. And if the reports surrounding his new Diana documentary prove true, then it becomes painfully clear he is still searching for something, perhaps validation, perhaps redemption. But to drag his late mother's memory into this whirlwind, packaging her legacy for a streaming special, that is not healing. That is exploitation dressed as catharsis. Meanwhile, the actual cause, the firefighters, the community, the very reason the concert existed, was buried beneath the weight of royal gossip and tabloid fodder. First responders deserved far more than this circus. They should have been the front-page story, the honored heroes, the ones basking in celebration. Instead, they were overshadowed, pushed to the margins, so a self-exiled duchess could orchestrate drama and siphon camera time from a man genuinely honoring courage and sacrifice. It wasn't merely inappropriate. It was deeply offensive, and the fact that she repeats this pattern again and again says everything one needs to know. Meghan Markle is not misunderstood. She is not being silenced. She is loud, deliberate, and ruthlessly calculated. And for the first time, it appears the consequences are catching up with her. All eyes now shift toward what comes next. Whether it be looming legal action, visible royal distancing, or a catastrophic PR unraveling, one fact remains undeniable. The mask has slipped. And the Meghan now revealed to the world does not look royal at all. She looks exposed.